Hey there, listeners, and welcome to the Just Love Cast. I'm your host that will never stop noticing you, Bacon Senpai, and joining me today is the foxy Znelson.
Notice me?
Consider yourself on notice. And the voluptuous Mark Den.
Ooh.
Oh god, okay. Okay. Welcome to the Just Love Cast, or the Just Dubs Cast. This is the official podcast of JustDubsOnline.net, and we're glad to have you along. Before we get started, we'll start with the site news. Not really a lot going on this week, or this month, rather, considering this isn't a weekly podcast. It's barely a monthly podcast. But we have a new club that one of our newer members, Kade, something like that. I can't pronounce your name. I'm very sorry. But she started a new club called the Study Club. And the point of the Study Club is for tutoring, studying, and she also has like weekly quizzes and riddles for people to solve. So that's lots of fun. But if you are like me and you're a college student, or even a high school student or whatever, and you've got something that you're having trouble with, like math, English, whatever, go ahead and post a thread about it there, and one of the other four members will give you a hand. And then lastly, we just have this month's elimination game, which is the February is for Love elimination game, which as of the time of recording is still going on. I nominated Yuno and Yuki from Mirai Nikki, who in their very first round, got matched up against Taiga and Ryuji, and that was just really bad luck. But to be fair, it was really close. They lost by 2 points, and it was 7-9. So not too bad. Not too bad.
Honestly, I didn't keep up with this month's. I feel really bad about it, but I didn't keep up with it.
The last few I haven't kept up on, mostly because the last few I did not know who any of the characters were. And I usually when I don't know who any of the characters are, I don't usually know who to vote for. I guess the most recent round that I voted on, that I didn't know the characters of, one character was from and this was in this elimination game. It was one of the couples, and one of them was from Angel Beats, and the other one I had never ever heard of. And I voted for the other one just to vote against Angel Beats. Just because I feel like Angel Beats is the most overrated anime ever.
Yeah, I can understand that.
With the exception of Gurren Lagann.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know I just angered a whole lot of people there. But yeah, it's February, and February is the month of love, or so they tell me. And as such, we have an entire day devoted to it. Valentine's Day, which I can't remember what I did for our Valentine's Day. What did you guys do?
Nothing.
Nothing? At all?
My girlfriend was disappointed.
I think I was out tapping trees that day.
Oh, yeah?
For syrup, for sap, yeah.
What about you, Mark? Do you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, anything like that?
No, sadly, I'm alone. I'm sadly alone.
Okay, ladies, okay. You heard it here first. Mark Den, eligible bachelor.
I was gonna say, if it's anybody from the site, if they saw what my thing is now, they probably think I'm a creep. My avatar.
What thing is that?
My avatar picture, or my picture, it's from one of the topics I'm actually going to talk about today.
Oh. Well, why don't we go ahead and dive right into that?
Alright. So, since I was looking at the news and whatever, right. I found this slightly newer manga called Keijo.
Okay.
With 8 exclamation points after it. And the whole sport is about... Here's the synopsis. Keijo is an aquatic fighting sport where the players are forbidden to use their limbs and only allowed to use their hips and chests to fight. However, the players are free to land any attack on their body parts on their opponents, including face and vital points. By law in 2003, Keijo became a sport that that allows for gambling alongside horse racing, boat racing, and others. Fundamentally, it's like sumo, where they have to make the opponents knock out of the arena, or
Right.
our opponents are unable to continue to fight, and the matches in Keijo look to entertain. And it's a really dangerous sport where the people who are fighting in it can like tear ligaments and break bones.
Okay.
And it's ever since I started reading it, it's just like hilarious in what they do for competing, like what they do against each other. It's like they flat out call it as it is. There's like one that's called like the ass cannon, where it's just as fast as you can fling your ass at somebody.
So it's like a butt punch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the greatest thing I've heard today. So wait, you said they can only fight with their chest and their hips.
Yep.
So you literally like dry hump people to death.
Almost.
Almost, except when you use your ass.
Yeah. That's basically it, and then there's one of the recent chapters where it's just like hypnotism, where she just swings her chest back and forth, and that nobody can
it's
move.
It's like a fucking metronome.
Yeah.
Like she's fucking Clefairy or something.
So that's what my day is. My past couple of days have been is reading that. And
how is it? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's one of the few sports anime or few sports manga that I absolutely like.
I wonder why.
But like before I even knew anything about it, I'm like, this is interesting, and they're getting they're getting an anime here in the next couple of months. So hopefully it's pretty good.
Well, when it gets released, I don't know, maybe I'll give it a chance. I always want to get into manga, but I never can because I'm just like the laziest motherfucker on the face of the earth, and I will read like 5 pages of a book and be like, nope, too much work, can't do it. I'll just wait. So, like, the last manga that I actually read was actually a fairy tale manga, and I literally did just that. I got halfway through it, I'm like, nope, done. I mean, like, halfway through the first book, not halfway through, like, the manga series, just... And then I just went and watched Fairy Tail.
Yeah, Fairy Tail starts off really slow, considering how many people like it. The start is slow, but then as you get into the latter 250 episodes or whatever, it starts to get a lot better.
I've made it like 136, and that's as far as I could make it. Not just in Fairy Tail, like any series.
Okay, fair enough. So Znelson, I want to backpedal a little bit and go back to how you had a disappointing Valentine's Day and how your girlfriend was actively disappointed. Did you just like phone her up and like, hey babe, you want to know what I got you today? She's like, oh my god, what'd you get me? And you're like, disappointment.
Well, actually, Lunar New Year was like right before Valentine's Day.
Okay, is that the thing that you observe?
It's a thing that she observes, and it's a very important holiday to her.
Okay.
So we just celebrated that and said no Valentine's Day because, we just celebrated everything then. See,
if I were her, I'd be feeling gypped. I'd be like, what? It's Valentine's Day. I don't care that there was another holiday just like a few days ago. It's Valentine's Day, and I better be getting some fucking chocolate.
Well, see, she said that she didn't want anything, and yeah, we sort of agreed to it beforehand.
I think that just means you're in even more trouble because you're supposed to know. Baka.
Well, whatever. I bought her pizza today, so it balances out.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think pizza kind of sorts everything out. I can't remember what I did on Valentine's Day. I don't know. I think I sat around. and played Final Fantasy. I really don't think I did much.
That's coming up here, too. The new Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Cool.
So, one of my favorite romance anime that I watched very recently, and I think the last time we were like all together on a podcast, I talked about this. The most recent like romance harem eki anime that I watched was Monster Musume. Have either of you watched those so far?
I have not.
I watched it and read past where the anime is stopped.
What did you think of it, of the anime specifically?
The anime, I felt like it was fair. It was really good in considering that the way they portrayed the characters, you could really feel like
Considering what it's about.
yeah, considering what it is about monster girls and basically a monster harem. It's really good. I recommend it to people who like that sort of stuff and are
who are into bestiality. You mean?
Not into bestiality, but just into like I'd say harem
Right.
anime or
Yeah.
romance anime in general.
Yeah, like I have been saying a ton of it, like on like people I follow on Twitter and stuff have been like posting a bunch of stuff about it, and I just kind of figured, okay, this is something that is apparently gaining some degree of popularity, so I'm gonna have to watch it just to say that I've watched it. But I didn't expect it to be any good. Like most harem anime that I watch, I just feel like it's really cheap, and it's just about, it's just like, hey, we have boobs, please watch, and like there's no real substance to the series other than that. But I was actually genuinely surprised by Monster Musume, because I thought the gimmick was, hey, like it was just like, hey, we have monster girls with boobs, and that's what separates us from all the other anime with boobs. But like I actually watched it, and I actually feel like they took the time. Like I feel like whoever made it actually kind of like cared about what they were doing. Like they actually cared about the show and actually wanted to make it halfway decent, because the writing is really good, especially for a harem anime.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really easy to get invested in the characters. Like they're actually relatable, and like despite being half animal, they're like otherwise they are fairly relatable, and in some ways. And I actually really liked the show. I really liked the characters, and it ended up just being really, really charming in a lot of ways, but also just really, really funny all throughout.
I think it kind of sparked off a monster monster romance evolution, because after that I started seeing like there's a dinosaur one where she's half dinosaur.
What kind of dinosaur?
I think it's like a raptor or something. I don't. It's
like she just screeches at you.
I don't.
And wiggles her tiny arms.
Wanted to do is bone a raptor. Just saying.
Well, more power to you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good, and considering all things considered, I think it's something that people should watch, even if they aren't exactly into just tits and hips and all that.
Yeah, I think like even if you're just looking for something funny, I think this will get you sorted.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the few that is like, I'm not interested in the harem around me. It's just they're there and they're trying to make advances on him.
Which is every man's fantasy.
Yeah, I guess every man's fantasy is to have a centaur come on.
Well, I was talking about having the women come on to you and like no effort.
I mean, to be fair, if a centaur came on to me, I would be bragging about that. But hey, have you had a centaur come on to you? Didn't think so. I guess like a lot of like the shenanigans and shit that they get into because they are like half monster and stuff is pretty. It's pretty entertaining. Like the show opens, and I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I don't think it is. The show opens with Mia, who is like half snake, like cuddling up to like the male protagonist. I can't remember what his name is. Cuddling up to him in like bed and stuff, and he doesn't know that she's in bed with him. She just got into bed with him in the middle of the night, and like he just wakes up, and there's this snake girl that is literally wrapped around him and constricting him to death. And it's like he tries so hard to get her off of him that he ends up like grabbing her in like really
erotic
places, and that just causes her to constrict him more and like crush him to death.
Yeah.
And you get stuff like that all throughout with like like the spider lady like wrapping him up in like web and shit, and like
Yeah.
There's
Just
not
yeah.
much more. There's not much more to say about that other than just watch it. It's really, really weird, and part of you will be like, "Why the fuck am I watching this?" But like the rest of you will just be like, "Why the fuck am I enjoying this?"
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a part of you that wants an adult.
There will be many parts of you that are like, "I need an adult," and you have the most confused boner of your life.
So, kind of on the topic of a harem anime and stuff like that, I've been thinking about this ever since I started watching with my first few animes. Is the sneaking of harems in anime that aren't portrayed as a harem anime,
Right.
like Sword Art, where it started off as he's in a MMO in a fantasy land, and he's got the one love interest, and then all these other ones started to fall in, and it's like that doesn't really what turned me off from Sword Art Online is like, why did you do that? You just stick to your roots.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, exactly. I had the same problem with Sword Art Online. It does sort of become like a harem of sorts, where like every female that like Kirito comes across is just like, "Oh my god, Kirito, you're so cool."
Yeah.
And like it's just like they instantly fall for him, and then like nothing ever comes of it. Like with like I think there are like 2 or 3 girls that just like have one episode of them like fangirling over Kirito, and then you never see them again. And then like I feel like they tried to push the romance in that a little too hard.
Yeah.
To the point that I feel like they kind of like character assassinated Asuna. Because I feel like Asuna was like this badass, like at the beginning of like
when you first meet her.
Yeah, like when you first meet her at the beginning of the show, like she's like this badass, like one of the best players in the game, and she just doesn't give a fuck. And by the end, like I feel like half the time, like she is only there to be a cheerleader for Kirito.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same thing like continues in like the second half of like the first season, where they go into like the other MMO. I can't remember what they call the other one.
Alfheim.
Alfheim Online. That's it. And then like they just relegate Asuna to the damsel in distress role.
Yeah.
And then he ends up with like some sort of pseudo romance with his sister.
Yeah.
And
we don't talk about that.
Nobody talks about that.
If they do, it's still weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like she finds out that like spoilers, by the way, and she finds out that like the dude that in the game is Kirito. I don't know how the fuck she didn't realize that he looks just like Kirito. His avatar does.
And he's locked in his room for 4 hours a day or whatever.
Yeah, it's like she knows that he plays like MMOs and shit, right? Well, I guess like she might assume that he's been like traumatized by SAO, but like he happens to be locked in his room like at the exact same time that she's playing the game, and then she meets this dude that looks exactly like her brother and behaves exactly like her brother. And she's like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's kind of hot.
There's one point I think where she like makes a sandwich for him, and then he like eats the sandwich, and then they go back in MMO and they play. It's like, what were you doing? Oh, my family just made me food. Oh, cool! I just made my family food.
I remember that part. It's like, yeah, my sister made me a sandwich. Oh, cool! I have a brother for whom I make sandwiches.
Yeah.
And then,
in fact, I made him one just a minute ago.
That's funny. My sister just brought me a sandwich a minute ago. That's an odd coincidence. And then like she finds out that like he's her brother, and like she gets all mad and shit. But then she's still like, I still love you in a totally like romantic way, and he's like, you're my sister, and that's kind of weird. And I've kind of got a hot redhead that I'm trying to rescue, if you don't mind.
I don't know if this is a spoiler, if this would be a spoiler or not, but then they finally, I think it was in the first part, which I consider the first season, that they realize they aren't actually brother and sister. They're actually like cousins or something.
Yeah.
And that just makes it even weirder because it's like, yeah, brother and sister, you see that in some, and then they're still family, and it's like, really?
I don't know. I feel like brother sister is weirder than cousin.
Yeah, it is.
Because at least there is some. With cousins, don't get me wrong, still weird, but at least there's some distance.
Yeah.
in how genetically close you are, at least there is a little bit of difference.
Yeah, at least it is. At least it didn't go to like a kiss ex sis type,
right?
Brother sister relation. Don't. It's
fair enough.
Oh gosh, there's one series that I can't pronounce the name of it, but it's like it translates to, I think, like, I can't believe my sister is this cute or something.
Oh, Oremo?
I've not
yes,
watched
that is how you pronounce it. That series, I'm like, they can't do this. They can't do this.
And then they do it.
They did that. I feel terrible about myself as a human being right now.
For watching it?
Yes.
Like, I should not have witnessed this.
It's even weirder when you play the game it's based off of.
Oh my
because it's just a visual novel, but it's like they can't.
Visual novels are always going to be.
Yeah, it's like you can't be doing it. No.
No.
It all depends on which story or which one you choose to end up with. But it's like, no, you shouldn't be doing this. No,
this is not okay.
Yeah,
I do not approve of this.
Yeah. There is a new series out that I don't think that I know that many people haven't heard of. It's called Erased. That I found that is exceptional in a romance type, mystery type thing, or mystery type anime.
Right.
That is exceptionally good. I can't say too much about it without spoiling it, but I have the synopsis here. Satoru is a young manga artist struggling to make a name for himself following his debut. But that wasn't the only thing in his life that Satoru was frustrated about. He was also
sexually frustrated.
No, he lives with the condition that he's able to almost see the future, like
right.
That it's called revival, a strange phenomenon where one is transferred back to the moment right before something life-threatening occurs. This continues to happen until the cause of the threat is erased, as if somebody is forcing Satoru to stop it from happening. And he does this with the other main character, and as you go along, you're like you feel happy, and then they go and gut punch you in the way of just like, why did you this should have happened, but no, we're gonna throw this at you instead.
Right.
Throw the 1-2.
Well, speaking of traveling to the future, or seeing the future rather, I thought
Can you see the future?
No, I cannot see the future. Can you?
I wish.
How many views will this podcast get?
37.
Okay, fair enough. Good enough for me. That makes all of this worth it. Just 37. Most of which will be like relatives and friends who I'm like, hey, go look at this.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have favorite anime couples?
Yes.
Nelson, you go first.
Taiga and Ryuji.
You sounded sad about that.
Yeah.
Do they make you sad?
It makes me sad how much I like them.
Oh, okay. So tell us about Taiga and Ryuji. And Toradora.
Well, I have read the manga, watched the anime, and I even downloaded English translations of all the light novels to read it just for the small extra bit of information that's actually not that much, to be honest. So
Right.
the anime stay really true to the source material.
Right. So Taiga and Ryuji are also like one of my favorite couples, and like I really enjoy the anime they're from because not only is it like really funny and the characters were pretty likable, I think, but I feel like Toradora kind of does something that I really don't feel like any other like entertainment or media has done very well, and that is I feel like they have captured perfectly what high school relationships are like, where they are really nothing terribly serious, and how it can just everything just changes so often, and how like the littlest things seem like huge and just exponentially important all the time, even though it's like really trivial.
It makes a lot of it does that really well, and I think it does what a lot of other animes don't do very well, and it portrays real feelings between it shows the real feelings between the characters, and
Right.
how like how you said, like growing up your emotions are always mixed up, or you don't know
Right.
exactly who exactly you're gonna fall in love with until you actually meet the real person.
Yeah, and I really like my favorite character from that show is Ami, who I feel is like she is like the stand-in for the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like everybody else is just like losing their minds over like stupid high school romance stuff. Like you have Ami, who just does not give a shit. Like Ami just doesn't give a fuck. Like one of my favorite lines is where she's talking to like redhead girl. Can't remember what her name is. And like she's going on and on about Taiga and Ryuji's relationship, and like how Ami needs to care more. And Ami's just like, ugh, talking to you feels like I'm having a period.
I'd say that my favorite anime couple would be the one that I want at the moment. Oh yeah, I gotta figure out her name. Aragi.
Apparently, they're really your favorite.
They are, because I can't remember. I couldn't remember their names. It's Kiyomi Aragi and the other main character. I can't fucking remember her name at the moment.
Where are they from?
Bake Monogatari, or the Monogatari series.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's actually what I'm watching right now, Bakemonogatari.
Yep, and I feel like that it's kind of like the Toradora type thing, where they eventually start seeing the real person of each other, and of Hitagi, that's what it is. That's what her
Right.
name is. And they eventually she forces him into this relationship, but eventually, as you watch the other series and as it goes on, you realize that they start to actually fall in love with each other the more that they go through all these certain connections to save people from yokai or spirits that possess the people.
Right. Yeah, like I'm like 5 episodes into Bakemonogatari. I've not watched any of the other Monogatari series, so I really don't know anything about it. But I'm really enjoying what I've seen of it so far.
Mm-hmm.
Are you watching it in release order or chronological order?
I'm not sure. I think it's chronological. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm watching chronological order.
Yeah.
See, they had like I think one season. It's either the second or third, or it's basically like a throwback to things that you'll see in the first one, and it's a prequel of sorts.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's one of my favorite series, I've actually went back and went through the visual novels that they've translated.
Right.
And they kind of mix it up, but I think it's because of translation errors and stuff like that. But it's just as hard as to follow as watching the show, because they throw in like the little poems in between, like as you're watching it. I feel like when watching the anime, it's kind of hard to keep track of what's going on when they throw in like, here's like word or phrase, like stuff they've said, but it doesn't exactly show what's going on.
Right, there's no context.
Yeah. And it does that in the thing too, and that's just, and it, instead of the phrase, the content, what's being thrown in, it's the poems and stuff that they've plastered on the screen sometimes. And there's really not much more I can say about it than go watch it, and you'll really, it'll be
awesome, right?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I don't really know if I have a favorite anime couple, but one of my favorites that I think Nelson will be able to appreciate is Yuno Yuki from Future Diary, which is why I made the whole segue of seeing the future earlier. So, if you've not seen Future Diary, Yuki's a little bitch, and Yuno is fucking crazy. And she is the definition of yandere, and I just think it's brilliant to watch the show and just see the kind of shit that she puts Yuki through, and how actually crazy she is, and how Yuki almost develops almost Stockholm syndrome and begins to fall for her later in the series.
Yeah. As
time goes on, despite the fact that she kidnaps him at one point and ties him up, and it's crazy, but it's wonderful at the same time. It's so brilliant. And then she even tries to kill him at one point.
Yeah. It's one of those it takes the teenage relationship into Crazy Town, where like you said, you don't know you don't know the person until you really get to meet them.
Right.
And that's what I feel like Mirai Nikki did, but with Yuki just being the whiny little bitch that he is, and eventually discovering the Stockholm, discovering that Yuno's really just doing this to protect him,
right,
sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he just comes to terms with that as it goes along.
Right. Yeah, I really feel, I don't know, I guess, aside from the, aside from the sadistic enjoyment that I get from watching these two, I actually do like how they become close, and how they resolve their whole relationship thing eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually.
After murdering a couple orphans.
After murdering some orphans and becoming a god and creating a new universe and waiting, what was it, several thousand years?
Yeah.
But mainly the orphan thing.
I think that's what they really bonded over.
Killing lots of dogs too.
Wait, what?
The one episode where she goes out and murders tons of, because the dogs are attacking them, and she just goes out and kills the dogs. Murder brings people together.
Right. Yeah, no, if you and your partner are having problems, go kill some orphans.
Yeah.
And or some dogs. Whichever comes first. Orphan
Sometimes
dogs.
orphan dogs, yeah.
Yeah. If you can't find an orphan dog, kill their mother. then kill Just as a line does not endorse killing orphans and or dogs. Or orphan dogs. Anyway.
Except when they deserve it.
I've also watched one of these new short series called Please Tell Me Galko-chan.
Never heard of it.
It's basically about the teenage life and how how you see how female teenagers grow up and how they ask each other really dumb questions like,
Okay.
is it true that there's one episode, is it true that your boobs float in water or whatever? And they're at a pool and it's basically how the popular girl goes out and lives her life and it shows.
I feel like that's a legitimate question. Are boobs buoyant? Somebody leave a comment.
And there's other episodes where it's like, is it true that the first episode is like, is it true that tampons, depending on if you use tampons or pads or whatever, that you're more experienced with sex? And is like, what?
I don't. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. We can cut that out.
You say that, but I'm gonna leave it in. So what else have you guys been watching lately? Like, in terms of, like, romance, stuff like that?
Bleach, I guess?
Does Bleach count? I don't know.
I don't know. You could say that...
I feel like there's meant to be, like, a sort of, like, thing between, like, Orihime and Ichigo, but I just never see it. But then also I kind of feel like there's supposed to be a thing between Rukia and Ichigo. But, like, it never happens.
It's secretly a harem.
It's a secret harem.
Yeah, kind of. There's episode 115 where Orihime gets jealous because Rukia comes back, and
I hate Orihime. I'm just putting that out there. I hate Orihime. Like, she just exists to get in the way.
Yeah.
Like, that's her only purpose. Like, she has, like, these healing powers and shit, but, like, nobody gives a fuck about that. She's just useless.
She has the Rapunzel complex, basically. Like,
what?
she can do her own thing, but a lot of times in the anime, it's, come save me, I can't do this on my own.
Right, like, she kind of embodies the damsel in distress trope a whole lot. Well, like, there's, like, this, like, the bit before they have the whole Waco Mundo arc, right? Like Aizen and shit are trying to get her to come to Waco Mundo, otherwise they're going to, like, attack Ichigo and all the other Soul Reapers and shit, but they give her a whole day to go and say goodbye to all of her friends and Ichigo and shit, right? And I'm like, why? Why are you going with them? To save Ichigo? You know that they are going to have to come and rescue you anyway. So now you're just, like, giving them a disadvantage because now they have to fight on the enemy's home turf. You could just be like, yo, Ichigo, bitches be trying to kidnap me. And he'd be like, okay, let me just get everybody and we'll go kill them all. But no, she goes with them. Why?
I think it's kind of funny, too, that as I was watching it more and more, it's like, they're just making this up on the spot as they go along.
Well, yeah, that is. Don't get me wrong. I love Bleach. Hate Orihime, but I love Bleach, and I legitimately do not know why I love Bleach because Bleach is so dumb. It is so dumb, and the writing is so bad, and it just drags out for so long. But I just love it anyway, and I don't know why. Have you seen the episode of Bleach, the beach episode?
Maybe, maybe not.
Where they have, like, watermelons that, like, try to tentacle rape them?
Okay, no, I have not.
They had, like, a filler episode of Bleach where they had, like, these giant watermelons that had, like, these vines coming off of them, and they, like, grabbed, like, two of the girls. I can't remember who they were. And I'm like, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
God, what was this? There's another one that I really enjoyed that doesn't seem like it's there, but it's there. It's from the Unlimited Blade Work or the Fate series, and it's
right. I've been meaning to watch that.
They're really good, and I recommend you watch it. It's Archer and the Archer character, and the the whatever her name is, Ryuki, Rin. And even though it's like a master, like master summoner thing, you can see the small sort of connection in between there. And it's I don't know if it was because I was swayed because of all the stuff that I've seen, or because I frequent Tumblr a lot. So I seen.
So I imagine you've seen some shit.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's from that this kind of swayed it, or just for me watching all the different arcs of all the different series from the show, that you can they're just perfect for each other.
All right, fair enough.
Have you seen the most recent anime for Unlimited Blade Works that came out not too long ago?
Iliad, or
no, like they have the movie Unlimited Blade Works, but then they came out with like a full-fledged anime series after Fate Zero.
Yes, because is it Fate Stay Night?
Yeah, it's Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works.
Yep, I haven't finished Fate Zero, but I'm slowly moving onto that because I started from their really old stuff, which was like the Garden of Eden, I think it was called, and that's where it kind of sparks off the whole Holy Grail War, and then I continued on to Fate Zero and learning from whatever on there.
Because there's definitely a reason for the connection between Archer and his master and the Stay Night.
What would that be?
Arc. Major spoiler.
Okay.
But yeah, I really like the series too. I actually recently finished watching the Unlimited Blade Works. I started with the Stay Night, and then I went to Zero, and then I went to Unlimited Blade Works from there.
And what's that? I'm open to spoilers.
Stay Night kind of came out before Zero, and Zero was basically like a prequel to that. And then I went to the Unlimited Blade Works, which Stay Night and Unlimited Blade Works are two different arcs from the same like story, basically.
Right.
Like if you were to play the game, one is the Stay Night arc, the other is the Unlimited Blade Works arc, and then there's a third arc that they haven't done an anime yet for, I don't believe, but I might be mistaken.
So why are Archer a person and the other person a thing?
Reasons. That's
we can do spoilers on here.
Yeah, but I don't want to spoil it for Mark. I don't know if he knows.
Oh, do you know, Mark?
No, but it's one of those ones that I don't care if I'm spoiled about, but I really enjoy it.
Well, see, the thing about the Archer character that she summons is actually the main protagonist of the series from the future.
Okay.
It gets weird and complicated, but basically her and the main character kind of have a little crush on each other, and then he's actually from the future, being the guy that had a crush on her at some point.
Okay, fair enough.
Here's a question that's always been bothering me. So you know Ryder, the purple-haired one?
Yes.
I don't know if this would be a spoiler or not, but does she have some relation to Iliad's mother? Because they share lots of similar properties.
I actually don't know. I always thought the Ryder from Stay Night was based upon Medusa.
That's what they said. I looked into it a little bit. They say she's from the Gorgon race, because Medusa is a Gorgon. So
yeah, they take some creative liberties with history in the series, which I mean, of course they have to, I would assume, but it kind of makes the canon slightly hard to follow at points.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff that I've seen from the show is like they share. Like I looked at her mother, her mother and Ryder, and I was like, they share a lot of similar properties. So
Yeah, there's like I think it's Type Moon Wiki is the name of it, but
Yeah.
it has like a lot of information on the series.
So
So, now that we're done talking about things, I have no idea what we're talking about. Because I've not seen that. Actually, I've been meaning to get around to like watching Fate Zero, but I just... So, why don't we, since we're a little ways into the podcast now, we've talked about a few different anime, why don't we play a little game? So,
Oh Lord.
Nelson, you're going first. I want you to build your own harem of at least 3 people. From any anime,
okay.
manga, or Vocaloid.
If you
Go.
include Yuno, does that mean you no longer have a harem?
If you include Yuno, your harem dies.
Alright, gosh. So it can be from what again?
It can be from any anime, manga, or Vocaloid.
Well,
Bear in mind, I will be judging you.
oh gosh, you've put me on the spot here. Everyone's gonna judge me.
Oh, don't act like you haven't thought about it.
Let's see. I would probably get Reen from Fate Stay Night because I love her character a lot.
Alright.
I actually got to think about
Well,
that.
I can't get Taiga because Taiga belongs with Aruji. Everyone knows that.
And you can't break that up.
I can't break that up. And I can't get Yuno because I actually want someone to live.
Well, someone would live. It would just be Yuno.
I would probably get Fire Emblem. I want to pick Naui because she's a dragon.
Alright.
And, I mean, seriously, who doesn't want to say they can F a dragon? I mean...
Not anime, but it is Japanese, so I'll allow it.
Hey, there's probably going to be a Fire Emblem anime at some point.
There is, actually.
Yeah, so there.
It's not very good.
Well, you never said it had to be good anime.
Fair enough.
Forget it. Yeah, I'll bring Yuno. Everyone else dies.
Alright, fair enough. Everyone dies. Okay. Mark, that means you're up next.
Since I had some time to deliberate on this, I'd say Saya from Dagashi Kashi.
Okay.
Adult Oshino from Bake Monogatari.
Okay.
And I would say either Virgo or Aquarius from Fairy Tail.
All right. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I will give you a 6.5 out of 10 for that. No, I'll give you a 7. Give you a 7. I'm being generous. There you go. You get a 7. Zach, you get a 1. You get a 1 because you should get a 0 for everyone dying, but you also have Yuno, so that gets you a point. So I would go with Akano from High School DxD, Hinata Hyuga from Naruto, the older version, not the younger one. Ruka from Steins Gate, and I'm gonna cheat and add one more. Ceres Victoria. There we go. So
Yeah, I'd give that a pretty good 7.5, 8
7.5. Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And that's male or female Ruka. Don't care. Or both, actually. Why not both? We'll make it both, so that's 5 now.
Oh wait, if we're having one more, I would have what's her name? I always get these confused.
What's her name is a good choice.
Shimakashi from Gane Collect.
No idea who that is.
You usually see her around. She's got like the rabbit ear type thing and the striped knee socks.
All right.
I can't explain it any more than that because I can't figure out her name.
All right. Fair enough.
So.
Good hustle, everyone. Feel free to rate our harems in the comments. and or let us know what your harem is. All right. So like, anything else you guys want to talk about?
Can mention the awkward anime girls cooking boys chocolate cliche.
There you go.
That's
It's been
true.
mentioned. You know, there's like a that's an actual thing that they do in Japan where like I think they have like one day a year where like you're supposed to like make chocolate for like your crush or your boyfriend or whatever, right? And like there's like a thing of like putting like hair and like menstrual blood and stuff like that in the chocolate.
Ew.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
disgusting.
And I guess that's supposed to make you like closer to them, but it's like, why? Why? Like I know, it's like why? Like I know we all have a tendency to just be like, oh, it's Japan. They do things. But no, that's not enough to write off putting menstrual blood in somebody's chocolate.
I know what it was. It was Shimoneta with the really crazy chick. She made chocolates for the main character, and she put her hair and her love juices in
Oh,
in the
okay.
chocolate.
All right. Okay. That's a thing.
even
Is
worse.
Is that worse than menstrual blood?
I don't know.
I don't know that it is. I'm gonna have to put a.
Well, I was talking about the
Right.
hair because hair is just it gets in your mouth and it's on your tongue. You can't get it off, and you're dying. That's what happens.
I'm gonna have to put a age warning on this podcast.
Probably.
Yeah, that's utterly disgusting. But I guess it's it's a thing that happens. And if you're into that kind of thing, more power to you. I'm not here to judge. But
I'm not here to judge, but you're weird.
Kind of back onto the topic of anime couples. What's the Homura and what's her face from the Magical Girl series?
I've not seen that either. Oh my god, Mark, you've just
Madoka Magica.
You've just seen so much anime that I haven't seen.
This is what happens when I have too much free time on my hands.
No, it's fine. I used to watch anime a whole lot more often than I do. Life just kind of gets in the way now.
Mm-hmm.
Because like what I like to do is just sit down and binge watch.
I do too, but I have slightly more time on my hands. So.
Right. Which is why you need a girlfriend. Again,
Yeah, I
eligible
know.
bachelor. Ladies.
Ladies. Tits Fedora leaves.
Well, I think the fact that you have a fedora just turned most of them off.
I don't.
Oh, something else that I wanted to mention. Have you guys seen this game called Yandere Simulator?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I've watched Markiplier play it.
I watched Team 4-Star play it, and
That sounds even better.
it was wonderful. There's like a costume mode that makes her look like Vegeta. And he was doing it as Vegeta. It was like a Renegade for Life episode, and it was wonderful. So if you haven't seen Yandere Simulator, you can probably look it up on YouTube. You can look up Team 4-Star Yandere Simulator.
You can also get it for free. It's a free game because it's only like 10% complete.
Is it a free game? Is it
Yeah,
on
it's
Steam or?
It's you search up Yandere Simulator and it'll take you to the site and
All right,
you just have to download
fair
it.
enough. But yeah, you can do that. Look it up on YouTube. By the way, we're not affiliated with Team 4-Star and or Yandere Simulator. The game is, as it implies, a Yandere Simulator. You play as a girl whose senpai is like some girl is trying to steal your senpai, and senpai just never notices you, and you have like 1 week to get senpai to notice you before what's her face steals your senpai. So like you start in your house and you have like this little shrine to senpai where it's his like senpai's toothbrush and like an apple that he took a bite out of one time.
Oh god.
And then you can go down in your basement and there's like a chair there and like Lanny Pator was just like, yep, somebody's getting tied up down here.
Yeah, you can tie up people down there. You can drug people. You can drug like the the other people
Right.
and put them in your basement and make them go mentally insane.
Can you drug Senpai and like rape him down there?
Mm-mm. Because you can't get close to Senpai without.
Oh right,
Without
yeah, because you
seizing
get all
up.
shy whenever you get near Senpai.
Mm-hmm. But you can drug the other girls and have them go crazy at school, and like kill the other girls, and like kill
Oh
themselves.
yeah, like you. So
It's-
when you get to school, right? Because you have to like bike to school, and when you get to school, like out front of the school, there's just like a bunch of weapons just laying there, and you can like pick up a katana and just like run and like stab the girl who's like after your senpai, and then like drag her to like the school's incinerator and throw her in there.
which is right out front.
Right, and then you're like covered in blood, and you have to run around and like find a way to get all the blood off of yourself. And if you like walk into class with like blood all over you, everybody turns into skeletons.
There's one thing that they added in there. It's the Sans mode,
Yeah,
where you can control people. You can knock around people with Sans' power, basically.
Right, from-
throw people around.
from Undertale.
Yep,
I've been meaning to play Undertale, I still haven't. But
it's a good game.
yeah, it's like it's funny because like you can just like when you lose if like senpai like freaks out and like sees you murder somebody, or somebody notices that you've murdered somebody or something like that, and then you can like go into like this like rage mode where you just like go on a murder spree and kill everyone.
Isn't when you do the Vegeta mode, doesn't he go Super Saiyan?
Yeah. So you go like Super Saiyan. There's also like a One Punch mode. And there's a
Oh, yeah,
Titan
when-
mode where everybody turns giant except for you and Senpai.
Yeah, I remember watching some stuff about that. I mean, I played it, but I haven't fully explored all my options in the game.
Your only option is Senpai.
Yeah.
You don't need other options.
I don't know where I read this, but I heard something about Team Force, like Team 4-Star was being broken up or something.
No, they're not being broken up. What you probably heard was there was
being a dick.
yeah, there was like a massive YouTube copyright strike put up against Team 4-Star that took their channel down for a day.
That's what it was, because I just saw something and I was like, that sounds familiar, but I had to go look it up and I was like, oh, they aren't taken down and whatever. And I remember looking at some of their stuff beforehand. Team 4-Star is one of those things that I saw once and then completely forgot about it and then got back into it.
Yeah, same here. If you haven't heard of Team 4-Star, they make Dragon Ball Z Abridged, which is absolutely hilarious, and I adore it. And feel free to give it a try. And that's gonna do it for this episode of the Just Love Cast. If you can't wait to have us tickle your ear holes again, you can catch us every month over at justdubsonline.net. That's justdubsonline.net. And while you're waiting on little old me to come back into your life, you can always watch thousands of English-dubbed anime, visit our community forums, or participate in monthly games and various club activities. That's over at justdubsonline.net. I've been your host, BaconMan8910. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.